we would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
You like alongside baseball last night, the Brewers, and there was baseball, whether you think it exists or not, and I know you're being facetious. That's facetious. The Yankees are in the playoffs. Central title. They are the quietest, really, really, really good franchise. And I don't know if people could name 3 Brewers. I don't know if you think that, you know, when you say Dodgers, you say Phillies, you say Padres. I mean, look out, man. And at some point, they're going to break through and do something. And it was the Diamondbacks who came out of nowhere last year. And I'm not even insinuating that this would be coming out of nowhere, because the team that went out and has been so good, really for the last 4 years, but goes out and they're 11 games clear of the St. Louis Cardinals in their division. And JJ's still fighting for one of those first-round buys with the Dodgers and the Phillies, right? They're a couple games behind L.A. for that. This is a surprise to some, as they're the first team that celebrates a division championship, but it shouldn't be if you're paying attention.
Yeah, the Brewers are a lot like those teams in the NL West? Because the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers get all the focus. The Padres spend a lot of money, but then it was years where the Giants were winning. People were still like surprised by the Giants winning World Series like every other year. The Diamondbacks last year, this is a consistent franchise that when they trade pieces, everyone's like, oh, there they go. They're selling a good player. But they always have something behind it. They went out, acquired some veterans. Bryce Hoskins coming off an injury has been big for them at first base. It is, as you said, just a really good franchise in a division that, was the Cardinals for so long. You get hyped up about the Cubs. They're just consistently, over the last few years, have put a really good product on the field.
Yep, and so they win the division, and I think the next team up probably to clinch might be the Phillies. That's the largest lead. I mean, you got some races still going. Dodgers are only 3.5 clear of the Padres in the National League West. The Phillies are 7 clear of the Mets. Yankees 5 clear of the Orioles. Cleveland 6 games in front of Kansas City. And then Houston's 5 clear of the Mariners. One of the really cool stories that's happening is the half game back of a wild card spot, back in Minnesota. The wild card in the American League is Baltimore and then a couple of Central teams. And you got the Royals, Twins, and Tigers all within 2 games of each other. The Royals sitting in the best position, and then the Screwball is like take a look, because he's now won 17 games and was dominant and probably going to win the Cy Young in the American League, don't you think?
Strong contender right there.
I mean, he was terrific, and so he's won 17, and the Tigers are good. You can watch that, or you get the footy tonight. We got it right here on The Sports Animal, your home for the National Football League. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets, they will be home to take on the Patriots. It is the first time that he will play in MetLife Stadium since opening night a year ago when he went down, the Achilles ripped, and well, you know the story since then. It's an interesting game because it's a Patriots team that's been a lot better than people thought. They beat Cincinnati in the first week, went overtime last week with the Seahawks. They come in 1-1, moved the ball a little bit, ran the ball a little bit against the Jets team with so much fanfare. And I'm interested in seeing the Jets. I'm interested in seeing them on a short week. And the continued, I don't want to say evolution, the continued comeback of Aaron Rodgers. They're 6-point favorites, which feels a little thick to me. You like the Jets?
Go money line Patriots, riding that wave from last weekend?
I mean, I was on a hell of a wave last week. There's only one 3-for-all that I know I want, and we'll get into that tomorrow. Had a good week last week, though. I was 3-0. What do you like tonight?
I like the Jets, but in a field goal game.
Right?
I do think that there is a lot of emotion at play for Aaron Rodgers, finally back, playing a home game after 4 snaps last season, then tearing his Achilles on that field. And it's 2 teams that have played really solid defense, and it's an opportunity for Aaron Rodgers to get going, because the one thing with the Patriots, as hard as they played, they let DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith-Njigba just go absolutely bonkers. So this is one you'd like to see Aaron Rodgers make a few more plays downfield, especially Garrett Wilson.
All right, we'll get that for you tonight. I think our coverage starts at about 5:30 tonight here on The Sports Animal, your home for the National Football League. Coming up today on the program, guest list will include Jerry Palma from CBS Sports. We'll get his latest thoughts on the realignment conversations. You got USC at Michigan this weekend. You've got a bunch of good games. We'll talk about what happened last week. Georgia surviving Kentucky 13-12. You have the Apple Cup. Washington gets beat by Washington State at the Civil War. Oregon State, which you always have been last weekend or Thanksgiving weekend. And this year, because they're non-conference, it just felt weird, but it was kind of cool in some respects, to have those rivalry games early in the season. But as now we hit, I don't know, mid-September, you can almost call it tomorrow. I guess it's late September. Things are really starting to take a little bit of a form. You're starting to get into conference games. So we'll talk with Jerry coming up at 8:30 this morning. Got a lot of NFL to do. There's a lot of injury stuff that you want to get through. And I want to get into and we'll do this later, the Tennessee conversation, how they are putting the onus on their fans a bit to help pay the student athletes. And there's a lot of different models out there on how to help with NIL and how to get money, and revenue sharing is going to be real in college athletics. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. You saw Oklahoma State with the QR codes on their helmet. You can watch the game, scan the QR code, and you can send money in to help pay the student athletes. And Tennessee's got another way. It's going to be interesting to watch this model, because if it works, I think there's certain places that will replicate this, and if it doesn't, it could backfire. So we'll get into that. When we get back, the injury updates as you get ready to go through you got to start your fantasy football weekend tonight. Who's healthy, who's practicing, and we may have a really, really quick comeback from an injury that looked like it was going to be weeks and weeks, if not months. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, thanks for being with us on a Thursday morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Outlet.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
I know which one I think, but I'm curious where you think.
The most significant one.
The most significant injury news.
With the dude that has a chance to play?
Or doesn't. I mean, like the most...
I think the under the radar one is Justin Herbert.
Okay, that's fair. That's a really good one.
Not practicing yesterday.
Yeah, which kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people, right? To me, it's Jordan Love. I think you were almost relegated to Jordan Love was going to be out for 3, 4, 5 weeks. We all saw what happened in the opener in Brazil, and you hear, well, MCL and all this stuff, and then there he was at practice yesterday, and 12 days after the knee injury, he's on the field and may play. Now, there's no promise that he's going to play. He missed the game against Indianapolis last week. Malik Willis started, handled the vomit ball, which, by the way, damn. He had a brace on it. I still think they hold him out one more week. That's my gut. But, I mean, I'm looking at him on my screen right now in practice yesterday, moving around. Again, I told you this the other day. This is one of those guys, man, if 1 week, now if we'd have lost last week, and I say we, or this, I'm thinking as a GM or a coach, if you lose last week, I think, okay, maybe there's a little bit more urgency as you're 0-2, but you didn't. You're 1-1. There's part of me that just says, dude, if he's not really ready to take a hit, I sit him. But, I mean,
there's part of me that my mindset doesn't change regardless when it comes to the quarterback. Whether you win or lose the week before, to what you're getting at. Okay. Can you play or not? Can you protect yourself? And when you just paid a player
$55 million a year.
At that point, Tim, you have to take a step back from the win-loss record and make sure your investment is there because that's the future of the franchise. But I think this is saying is we hear MCL, ACL, sprain, in our mind just immediately go, we'll see a month from now.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Well, it's a good sign that Jordan Love is back. Same thing for Jake Ferguson, tight end for the Cowboys.
That's another big one.
You know, he's a guy that's back in practice, and it's just good to see that these knee injuries, when they happen, you just assume, oh, we'll see you in a month. These guys apparently got pretty lucky.
Let me ask you if this factors into it at all. And I think logically no, but Malik Willis, who's the backup quarterback, would be playing against his former team. And I don't know if you value that at all. Malik Willis has been very, very complimentary about his time in Tennessee. He says, thank you, they gave me an opportunity. Like, he hasn't said publicly, he said everything right, man. This guy said everything, but, man, dudes against former teams tend to have a little show-out game. Does it give you a little bit, well, maybe we let the kid play against his old team?
No.
Okay.
You can't think like that. You're a coach or a general manager.
He's probably
like, you can think like that if you want to select someone for your fantasy football team and you're sitting there Sunday morning going, who do I decide between play X, Y, and Z? Well, I'm going to ride this narrative. But if you're not looking for that's the furthest thing from your mind.
You know Malik's just going, come on, Jay.
Like you can get him
one more week.
You can give him
one more week. I got us through last week. Let me have this one.
You can give him a petty game ball after the fact.
I think that's fair. They like the petty game balls, man. People
that wouldn't lead me to start him over Jordan Love if Jordan Love was cleared.
People are big on that. All right, on the Herbert thing. Justin Herbert didn't miss any snaps on Sunday. But he did go in for x-rays after the game, and evidently they were negative. He didn't practice yesterday. Easton Stick is the backup quarterback for the Chargers. Was this a foot injury? Is that what we're dealing with again?
It was ankle.
This ankle?
Kind of rolled up on a tackle.
Yeah, I think that one's concerning. You're going up against a really good defense, and you're on the road. I don't think. I'm pretty certain you're on the road. And you found Quentin Johnston last week. You started getting a little bit moving. The running game has been really good. You're off to a hell of a start. And Justin Herbert's down, potentially. I agree with you. That's a big one to take a look at. The Joe Mixon injury. That was the hip drop tackle that wasn't called. His ankle got caught underneath. Cam Akers is there as the backup. He fumbled at the goal line last week. That's another injury to watch is Joe Mixon. Cooper Kupp's injury is not going to land him on the injured reserve, although he's not going to play this weekend. But that's something that you have to watch. And then you talked about the Cowboys injuries, and Jake Ferguson was back at practice yesterday, the tight end. It looks like he's going to play, right? I think that's a big piece for Dak Prescott, especially in an offense that struggled mightily last week to have, that offense, and he's always kind of relied underneath anyway. I think that's a big piece, don't you?
He's their second best receiving option
after CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
And you need that option over the middle. You need that big body receiver, because then all of a sudden you're looking at Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert. Like, the Cowboys are small. Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn. Like, they're a small team on both sides of the football.
Yeah. Yep.
And so if you get some size and a target who Dak Prescott leaned on in a gigantic way last year, this offense needs Ferguson back.
Yeah. All right, then there's the Bryce Young stuff. And I think this is going to be a conversation. Every time another guy gets in front of him, Mike, there sounds like there's going to be a conversation about Bryce Young. The first-round pick, the first overall pick from a year prior, who was drafted by Carolina and then benched 2 games into the season by his new coach, Dave Canales. And so we've been talking about where does he go. And the common sentiment is, dude needs a chance somewhere else. He will get a chance somewhere else. We all see what we see. We all have eyes. We all see he's small. We all see him struggling. We also all see nothing around him. And it's not like he was given anything close to what Caleb Williams was given, or let alone Jaden Daniels, right? He's put in a situation. The way Dave Canales, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, said this yesterday just caught me. So he was asked about a trade. A quote from the coach is, "That's not something we're really considering. We have a great situation with our quarterbacks right now, with guys that have experience. We love where we're at, and we're all hands on deck. We're focused on playing the Raiders this week," end quote. You love where you're at quarterback? You got a 38-year-old journeyman who just took over for your first-round pick who failed. You're 0-2. I don't believe you scored a touchdown this year, but you love where you're at. And on trading him, that's not something we're really considering. That wasn't flat out no. That wasn't flat out, yeah, we're probably nothing. Like he's nothing. And I get it. Coaches say nothing, and they have to talk, and I get it. But how can you stand there and say, we love where we're at in regards to quarterback or anything else regarding that franchise?
When coach speak goes wrong.
Horribly.
Like, they're filling and you're saying stuff to say stuff. And then people go, let's actually read into this sentence because it doesn't make sense.
We love where we're at. We're all hands on deck. We have a great situation with our quarterbacks right now. You really? Andy Dalton had a nice career. And by the way, he'll probably be nominated for the Hall of Fame when I look at the list of guys who've been nominated for the Hall of Fame. And we're going to get there too. Stop it. Baker Mayfield had thoughts on the situation in Carolina. Didn't Baker Mayfield, was he in Carolina for a minute?
Yep.
Before Bryce Young, right?
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he was there.
Baker Mayfield.
Quote from Baker Mayfield. This is on, and Baker Mayfield was number 1 overall pick. He's been in a similar situation, although not exact. Quote, obviously my career didn't happen in the same time frame as Bryce, but quarterback is hard, especially for young guys when you're not surrounded with the pieces and you're not given the opportunity to have success. A lot of time, guys have the talent, might have the brains, but they don't have the right opportunity or the right fit. I'm sitting here right now in a way better fit than other places I've been. That's not to put the other teams down, but it's a matter of the pieces around you, the coaches. And for Bryce, a guy that I can relate to this, finding that belief within yourself again, he'll get it. His story is far from finished, end quote. I love that. I freaking love it. Whether it's true or not, the story's yet to be written. And
There's a lot of people rallying around Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Even if you want to say
more
this,
so rallying against the Panthers.
and that's what I was getting at. It's you didn't see this for Zach Wilson.
Right.
You haven't seen this from many other quarterbacks that struggle early on. And I think that we all can watch Bryce Young play and realize you're never going to feel wow with him at quarterback. He's never going to live up to being the number one pick. But there's a lot of people outside of Carolina. There's a lot of football people. I think that Duke can somehow, some way play quarterback in the NFL. And I know Dave Canales, Panthers, out there saying they're not going to trade him. From Bryce Young, in the back of my mind, I'm like, just please, get me out of this building, because that has ruined him. And the Panthers have quickly risen up the ranks of poorly ran NFL franchises.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard the phrase, they beat the career out of him. And I know I've repeated it a few times because I totally feel that way. Like, I totally feel that the situation, the way look, it's a bad franchise, right? We agree? I mean, just a bad franchise. And Baker's not wrong. Again, look at the difference of Baker Mayfield when he's in a good situation. We all thought he was done. And Baker, now, look, I'm going to go on the record. I'll tell you this. I don't think Bryce Young's ever going to be a really good quarterback in this league. I don't. Can he be a serviceable quarterback in the league? Yeah, I imagine he can. What does that mean? He can be a Ryan Tannehill kind of a guy. I hate putting that label on people. But he will get another chance because he was a number one overall pick talent. And everybody acknowledges he was put in a bad situation. It's a little different. Well, maybe not. If Caleb Williams doesn't make it with the Bears, like if Caleb Williams looks like Bryce Young after a year and 2 games, you're going to start going, dude, I mean, what more can you give this guy, right? He's got a running game. He's got a defense. He's got great receiving.
Doesn't have a running game.
You don't think he does?
No. DeAndre Swift is like negative yards.
Okay. You're probably right there. All right.
He has his,
You're right.
We check the boxes on skill players.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
And then you watch the football and you realize that offensive line is very bad.
Yeah, you're probably right there. No, you're right. But it's a hell of a lot better situation than Bryce Young's in. And that's why Bryce Young's going to get another shot. And when we come back, the Hall of Fame nominees are out. I look at some of the names, the first-year guys, and I'm like, really? That's why I tell you, who did I just say is probably going to get Andy Dalton will probably get nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I think everyone's on it once, right?
Is everybody on there? Like, once you're eligible? Is that why some of these names are on there? All right, we'll go through that when we come back. Jerry Palm's going to be with us coming up in about an hour from right now. CBSSports.com and CBS Sports. Then we'll get his thoughts on what's going on with the realignment and take a look at this week in college football. As you look at your to-do list, can I help you with something? Can I help you scratch venue off the list for where you're going to host your holiday party? I've got it for you, and it's the Albuquerque Convention Center right in the heart of downtown Albuquerque, easily accessible from everywhere, and 600,000 square feet of incredible, flexible indoor and outdoor meeting space. Whether you're having a gala, a party, a reception, or just a little gathering, they've got you covered. Local art throughout the building. They've got the parking garage right off of Martin Luther King, which is directly connected to the facilities east building with a parking garage tunnel decorated with art, lined with windows to look out to downtown as you enter the building. The center includes an east and west building. It connects the two with a sky bridge, which goes right over 2nd Street. It's an unbelievable spot. And I know you know that because you've been there. They've got flexible meeting plans for whatever it is you're looking to do. And if you've got a convention or a gala, they will handle anything from 2 people all the way up to 20,000. The food and beverage options are endless. The staff is expert, and they will make your event something that everybody is thrilled that they were at. I tell you every day, we host an event for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl every year there. And the reason we keep going back is they take care of our guests. And we're about hospitality. I know you are as well when you host an event. They will take care of you. The food is great. The options are great. Go look online. You'll get an idea what it is if you've not been there, although I'm assuming you have. It's albuquerquecc.com, albuquerquecc.com, and then give them a call and talk to them about planning your event. At the center of it all, the Albuquerque Convention Center, 505-768-4575. That's area code 505-768-4575.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called.
Every morning at 505-246-0610. Emails, Jeff@sportsanimалabq.com. JJ@sportsanimалabq.com. Lobo Hobo's in. He's got a prediction for Lobo football this weekend. Lobos and Fresno State. It's homecoming University Stadium over on News Radio KKOB at 6:30 kickoff, 5:30 pregame show Saturday. Lobos are 15.5-point dogs. Lobo Hobo says Fresno State 31. Lobo football 28 on a missed field goal by Luke Drizwicki to send the game into extra innings. So he's got him losing on a missed field goal, JJ.
Would be a heck of a game.
All right, let's hit this, and then I'll get into the Hall of Fame stuff. Lobo football this weekend. It's one of the 5 home games. The schedule's so wacky, right? And then next week you go down to New Mexico State and play the Aggies. It's a conference game. It's a big game. It's a game that I don't think the fan base expects them to win, right? But after this week, does the fan base start to expect them to win?
If the offense performs at a high level again, you have that excitement. Yes.
Like right now, if New Mexico played New Mexico State
will
this
change
week,
quickly.
If the Aggie Lobo game was this week in Cruces, what do you think the spread would be?
I think it'd be close to a pick 'em.
I'm not even sure. Yeah, I know who I think would be favored. Now, New Mexico State's got a really interesting one at Sam Houston this week. It's a conference game against a 2-1 team that just kind of handed it to Hawaii last week, 31-14. I look at this game, and I think Global fans, they just want to get through this stretch, this Arizona, Auburn, Fresno State stretch. And then I think you look at it and you say, I don't know that I think there's a team on the rest of my schedule that I can't beat. And you're like, what are you saying, man? You're 0-4. And I understand that. But after that, and Aggie fan, I'm not sitting here telling you that I think New Mexico is going to go down and beat you. I kind of want to see what you look like this week too. But as I look at the rest of the schedule, I think probably Washington State is the team, right? Probably can't handle Washington. But New Mexico State, Air Force, Utah State, Colorado State, Wyoming, San Diego State, and Hawaii have hardly been world beaters. And you've been saying if you can be patient, if you'll ride this thing into November, you might be able to get a little payback this year.
Yeah, if this was the Aggie week, I think people would expect actually Lobos to be slight favorites to go down there and win that game. And they're probably still going to be expecting that if you see the same confidence, Devin Dampier out there. It'd be nice to not turn over the football.
Mm-hmm.
Understand they're chasing games, tough environments on the road last couple weeks, but 4 interceptions already on the season. So take care of the football, show some explosiveness, continue to show some things on the ground because this is an offense that's going to play from the shotgun and lean on Devin Dampier. But that's how you keep that confidence up because there's a nice vibe around with Global football. Seeing it just with everything that's gone on, the conference stuff.
Not winning.
The fact that there's been some explosiveness, a quarterback that everyone believes in. They've carried it to this point. But yes, once you turn the page, because Fresno State's a really good football team.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm right there with you. You look at that stretch, New Mexico State, and there's teams that they've had your number. You look
Certainly
at Air Force, Colorado State. But New Mexico State doesn't have a quarterback. Air Force is just struggling this season because there's a lot of turnover on the offense. 4 new offensive linemen, brand new quarterback run the option offense. And, I think Utah State is.
They were impressive against Utah.
They're good against Utah.
A lot better than I thought.
But that
SC
was
beat
the
them 48-0.
Blake Anderson, and then Colorado State, Wyoming, San Diego State, Hawaii. Now's the time to end the streak against Colorado State.
Yeah, I think that's right. There's 12 teams in FCS or FBS who have not won a game yet. The Lobos are one of them. And I say that because it kind of parlays off of your point, where there is a little bit of a better vibe around it, even though they haven't won a game, right? There is some optimism. Well, they look better. You didn't expect them to beat Auburn or Arizona. I think you expected to be 1-2. You probably expected to be Montana State, who seems to be pretty good. But I mean, it's Temple, it's Florida. You're right there with Florida State, is one of the 12 teams. UCLA hasn't won a game yet. No, that's not right. UCLA has won a game. UTEP hasn't won a game yet. UMass has not won a game yet. Miami of Ohio, Kent State. Wyoming hasn't won a game yet. Yeah, I believe the number to be 12. Troy, Old Dominion. So if it doesn't happen this week, I think you start to Jones a little bit next week, huh? Next week's going to be really interesting around here, man. Aggies and Lobos. Aggies have beat them the last couple of years. It's going to be down there. Hopefully everybody behaves, because last time the game was down there, it wasn't pretty in the stands. Yeah. Next week's going to be fun. I know I promised you this. We'll do this right when we get back. Hall of Fame nominees, and who are some of the first-time nominees? You kind of look at the list and go, yeah, what? Why are these guys nominated? One of them we're going to have this big conversation about because, well, we did while he was playing. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by FEMA. If you were impacted by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Life been shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame nominees are out for the class of 2025. The Hall announced 167 modern era candidates, with 16 players who became eligible this year. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. So a screening committee, JJ, reduces this list down to 50 players next month. And then the full 50-person selection committee will cut the list down to 25 semifinalists and 15 finalists for the annual meeting before the Super Bowl, and that will produce the new class. And of those 15 finalists, players must get 80% of the votes to get in. Between 3 and 5 players can get in as modern era candidates. There'll be senior candidates and all that. All right, so first-time candidates. Eli Manning, is he the headliner? Or is he just the guy we're going to talk about the most?
Of the 10 quarterbacks, he's the headliner because the guys that are with him aren't in yet, and I don't think they get in, so he's going to be the headliner.
All right, first-time guys. Eli Manning, I like the Luke Kuechly nomination. Terrell Suggs. Adam Vinatieri, the kicker. It's interesting. All right, and then you start going Travis Frederick, the offensive lineman, Ryan Khalil, Joe Staley. Marshawn Lynch is going to have some conversation. Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles isn't a Hall of Famer. He was a nice player. Demaryius Thomas, nice player. Not a Hall of Famer to me. Vernon Davis, the tight end. Delaney Walker. Antoine Bethea. Aqib Talib. Earl Thomas. Guys back from a year. Like, did you show me Mark Bulger was on this list somewhere? Was that a first-time guy?
No.
Not a first-time guy?
No.
All right.
So I think it's the process that whatever is it 4 or 5 years, you get to go on the ballot, but just because you're on the ballot doesn't mean there's a case for you to be a Hall of Famer. It's just kind of part of the process.
So like quarterbacks that are on the ballot are Eli, Mark Bulger, Randall Cunningham, Jake Delhomme, Doug Flutie, Rich Gannon, Jeff Garcia, Donovan McNabb, Steve McNair, Tony Romo. I mean, there's only a few of those to even have a conversation about. 10 players back under consideration who were finalists a year ago. Antonio Gates, to me, is a Hall of Famer. Torrey Holt, borderline Hall of Famer. Reggie Wayne, borderline. Offensive lineman Willie Anderson was really good. Jari Evans. DB's Darren Woodson. I thought he was already in. I did. Eric Allen, Rodney Harrison, and defensive lineman Jared Allen and Fred Taylor, the running back. Boy, you say, about 5 are going to get in. It's a hell of a list right there. All right, Eli's the conversation. Eli was the conversation when he was playing. Eli was a top 10 quarterback of his era, had a bunch of marginal years, 2 really good years, 2 playoff runs, 2 Super Bowl championships. By the way, beat Belichick and Brady in both of those Super Bowls. And is he a Hall of Famer? And we had the conversation literally whilst he was playing. Never was All-Pro. Never led the league in a major statistical category. But he threw for over 57,000 yards and 366 touchdowns. And again, winning 2 Super Bowls and who he beat matters. It does. It does. And beating the Patriots when they were undefeated and stopping that, it was David Tyree in the helmet catch. I don't know, man. I'm really on the fence on Eli because I don't know that I think regular season wise he wasn't horrible, although there were some bad seasons. Hall of Famer? Nah. And it's okay if he doesn't get it on the first ballot.
He's a 500 career quarterback in the regular season.
Yeah.
So not horrible, but the dude was not a good regular season quarterback.
Yeah.
And he has those 2 runs, which are fascinating. And the way we talk about sport, the way we judge people,
no doubt,
the answer should be Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer.
Because of the postseason success.
Talk about Super Bowls. Like, you're no good if you don't win a championship. Oh, you're terrible if you lose the first round of the playoffs. So by this metric, the dude got in, won those games when he got in, should be a Hall of Famer.
Is he a Hall of Famer? I mean, just subjectively as you can look at it.
I don't think Eli Manning's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but because of what you said, people keep going, he beat the Patriots.
Well, it matters, though, who you beat, right?
Well, only for him.
Because he's the only one besides Nick Foles who beat him. He's the only one, him and Nick Foles is a Hall of Famer.
We've never had this conversation with other guys.
But there's no one else to have the conversation with because none of them beat the Patriots, right? Who else can you have the conversation about? Him and Nick Foles are the only guys who beat him in the Super Bowl, right? So we have it. I'm so on the fence. I think longevity-wise, I mean, his 57,000 yards is a lot of yards. So his 244 interceptions. Guy spent a lot of time on his back. 411 sacks. Would you tell me his overall record was?
117 and 117.
Huh. Wow. They had some losing seasons, man. I think he's going to get in. I do not think he will get in on the first ballot. And by the way, I think it's okay if you don't get in on the first ballot. I know a lot of people differ on that. But I think he will get in. And if you get in, you're a Hall of Famer. Right?
So he played 16 years.
Okay.
7 winning seasons.
I mean, how many quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame with a losing record?
He's got the 500 at least.
Yeah, but how? I would like to know because we only put a win-loss record on quarterbacks. We don't put it on a lineman. We don't put it on a running back or a wide receiver. We only put it on a quarterback.
I think with Eli Manning, like his 2 Super Bowl runs were unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I think in sports, there's a lot of good players that have long careers that doesn't make you one of the best to ever play the game.
I tend to agree with you. By the same token, I think he's going to get in. And again, I don't know that I think he's going to get it on the first ballot, and I'm okay that he doesn't get in on the first ballot. I'm looking at, I wish it would give me a win-loss record, and it doesn't. I'm looking at all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You know, Namath had one, Joe Namath wasn't a great quarterback. Joe Namath had that one run, right? And predicted Super Bowl III and came through and got him in the Hall of Fame. I'd love your thoughts. Is Eli, we've had this conversation for years, but now here we are. Now he's been nominated. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. Hall of Fame quarterbacks with losing records. I got an answer for you, if there are any. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
Rip,
plastered, destroyed, brah. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
So I'm really, really struggling trying to find you an answer on has there ever been a quarterback in the Hall of Fame with a losing record? It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck, and I've been looking in a lot of different places. So George Blanda, who I don't know if you think he went in as a quarterback or a kicker, but he was both. George Blanda, it just, JJ, I got conflicting numbers. Like, people are telling me, I look at one site and it says that Sonny Jurgensen had a losing record, and another one says he was 107 and 103 and 8. Fran Tarkenton was close, 126, 114 and 6 winning record. Blanda was 85. This is 85, 69, 3, and then other places tell me he's a losing record. The one I'm looking at right now is only a guy named Charlie Trippy, who went in 1968, was 7 and 16 as a quarterback. Joe Namath had a losing record as a quarterback, 68, 70 and 4. And Dan Fouts, 88, 92 and 1. So Namath, Fouts, Charlie Trippy was part-time quarterback. And then Sammy Baugh was 17 and 17. After that, the way I see it, Warren Moon was 2 games over 500 in the NFL. Sonny Jurgensen was 4 games over 500 in the NFL. But so there have been quarterbacks with, and you're saying Eli was 117 and 117, right? So opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. We're having the conversation. Eli Manning has been nominated for the Hall of Fame, and you know, a quarterback's ever gone in with a losing record? And I guess the answer is yes. Right? Is Eli a Hall of Fame quarterback? And again, I think he will get in. I do. I think he will get in. I don't know that I'm convinced he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't think he'll get in on the first ballot. I think when I look at who's on the ballot coming back from last year, I think there's other guys who will get in before him. But you'll have this conversation, right? You say no, right? It's where you are. If we have to have a big conversation about it, the answer is probably no.
Eli Manning feels like a guy that will get in. The hype surrounding him, the fact he has those 2 Super Bowl runs, which you don't want to take anything away from. It's just the overall player. Like, are we gonna? What about Joe Flacco going to get in this conversation because he had one of the best playoff runs ever to win a Super Bowl? Like,
I don't think one does
credit
it for
Eli
you.
Manning,
no,
for those runs, but I think you can have a long extended career that's good and put up numbers, but that doesn't make you one of the best ever. Like, I'm not going to think back on Eli Manning and go, man, that dude changed the quarterback position. That dude was one of the best ever. He had 2 ridiculous playoff runs.
Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? And they'll always be tied together. They were both drafted in the same draft, one by the Giants, one by the Chargers. They were traded for each other. They had great careers with those 2 franchises. The difference is, I think, and you can look this up, I think Phillip Rivers' numbers were better, probably had better win-loss record, never won a Super Bowl, hence who has a better shot at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Phillip Rivers in the same way because he doesn't have those championships. Phillip Rivers, 134, 106 in a regular season.
Way better.
6th all-time on the passing list. Eli Manning is 10th. He's a 10th all-time passer right now in NFL history.
All right, so a top 10 guy in the history of the NFL.
So I'm not going to feel...
There's something else?
Like, if Eli Manning gets in, I'm not going to go, oh my gosh, it's the worst thing ever, but I'm, in my mind, watching Eli Manning's career, never felt like he was one of those guys.
All right, Manning. Well, all right. They play the same amount of years, or Rivers played a couple more years? Because
Rivers had that one more year, but it was the
Indy year?
Indy year, man. Dude went 11-5.
Yeah. Career records. Manning, 117, 117. I guess you got to throw Ben in there, but Ben's a Hall of Famer. We all agree Ben Roethlisberger's a Hall of Famer, right? Same draft class? All right. So let's not put him in there. 117 and 117 for Manning, 123 and 101 for Rivers. That's significantly better. He won, I guess he only won 6 more games, but he lost 16 less. Regular season stats, Manning, Rivers threw for over 2,000 yards more. He threw for 31 touchdowns more and like 46 less interceptions with a better percentage rating. Rivers' numbers, everything says Rivers is better. Except for 0 titles, 6 postseason appearances, 5 and 6 in the playoffs for Phillip Rivers. Eli Manning, same amount of postseason appearances, 8 and 4 record versus 5 and 6. Oh, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I mean, does that trump the regular season? And I think the answer is going to be yes, don't you? Or if one gets in, does the other have to get in? I mean, Eli's top 10 in the history of the game, you said, in yardage? That's
He's
something.
10th right now. Yeah.
10th is top 10. That's something, right?
Yeah, Eli Manning, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 Super Bowl trophies, 10th in yardage. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Then I think Rivers is 2. Just numbers-wise. All right, you can get in on it. 505-246-0610. It's interesting stuff, and it's going to be, I'm waiting for Raider fan to say, what about Jim Plunkett? Only Jim Plunkett, who's not been inducted, is a guy that's won 2 Super Bowls and not been in the Hall of Fame as a quarterback. Only Jim Plunkett. Now, Jim Plunkett's regular season numbers were not great, and that's why Jim Plunkett got left out. I believe he has a losing record. But this one will be interesting as you watch it and you go down it. All right, 505-246-0610.
Jim Plunkett just needed to play today, then he would have been a Hall of Fame. He's 72 and 72 overall in his career.
Yeah. Was a lot of it, he was drafted by New England. What was his record in New England? Probably not very good, right? Were there a lot of losing
23 and 38.
Yeah. And then he went to the Raiders, and then it got a whole lot better. All right. I want to get more. We got some more NFL stuff to do. If you were at United last night, love to hear your thoughts as they not only clinched the playoff berth, but really put away, I think, the number 1 seed overall. They're now 10 points clear of Sacramento Republic after their 3-1 victory over Sacramento. 3 second-half goals put it away. Greg Hurst had 2 of them as they are 10 wins at home. They have had a magical, fantastic season. And if you were there, I'd love your thoughts. When we get back, I want this conversation. How much would you be willing to pay? And I'll put it in basketball terms for this audience. But if UNM came to you and said, hey, we're upping ticket prices and Global Club membership 4.5%, and we're tacking on a 10% talent fee to your tickets to help pay the players, how would you feel? That is a model that is being tested. That is a model that is being implemented. It's not being tested. It's being implemented. How would you feel about it? Because I think that's where it's going. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM. And AM 610, the sports animal.
How does winning up to 1,000 times your money sound? Sounds pretty good to me. Thursday Night Football is upon us, and Underdog Fantasy is the place to start. We got the Jets and Patriots. You want to insert some excitement into this game, you're going to be watching, so watch with Underdog Fantasy, because making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Underdog Fantasy is a great way to get in the game. I'm looking at the app right now. I'm looking at the stat projections for some of the players in the Thursday Night Football game. Just go higher or lower. That's how you put your pick'em entry together. Your pick'em entry is 2 players from 2 different teams. That's where you start. And then you can build on top of that, adding your multipliers in there. So just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. You can sign up with the promo code JJBuck, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. I'm liking Aaron Rodgers back at MetLife tonight, a passing game that I think can get going against a Patriots team that gave up a lot of yards to the Seahawks last week. So higher on Aaron Rodgers, 214.5 passing yards, And then you drift down to Garrett Wilson, 66.5 receiving yards, going higher there. And the play on the Patriots, it's got to be Ramondre Stevenson. You get vulture protection with him if someone takes a touchdown away from him at the goal line, but 66.5 rushing yards. I'm taking the over there even against a Jets team because they are leaning in to Ramondre Stevenson. Check out all the stat projections, not just for Thursday Night Football, but for the entire weekend of football. I love going through the app because it's easy, it's fun to use, and Underdog Fantasy gives you so many opportunities. You can log in and look at the profit boost tokens that they have. A gimme pick for this weekend, CeeDee Lamb, it's just half a yard. Half yard is all you need to go higher on him. So that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JJBuck to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. It's easy. It's fun. I'm looking at the app right now. Join me with that promo code JJBuck. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Long time, and some of you are saying, I'm never going to. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. NIL, transfer portal, revenue sharing, all phrases that are commonplace in college athletics that weren't 3, 4, 5, certainly 10 years ago. So how are schools going to sustain, maintain, lead, compete? Where's the money coming from? And you've heard about the collective, and you know what Kurt Roth is doing with Ventures 505, and a great job. And you've heard about, JT Toppin left for Texas Tech because the reports are, or I don't know if there's any reports, the whispers are, and I know, about $1.2 million is what he got to go to Texas Tech. And how much could UNM give him? And how much is this guy getting? And nothing is made public. So it's all kind of what you hear. So where's the money coming from, right? And you're being asked to contribute to the Lobo Club, and you're being asked to contribute to the collective, and you're being asked to buy season tickets. And I've always wondered, how sustainable is this? So what if UNM came to you and said, hey, season tickets, all season tickets and single game tickets, we're adding an average increase of 4.5% on tickets. And oh yeah, we're not done yet. We're going to add another 10% talent fee to help pay the athletes as part of the new revenue sharing, which is probably going to begin next year. How would you feel? Like, do you have a limit? And I think everybody's got a limit. And I'm kind of talking in terms of basketball, because that's where such the passion play lies here. But JJ, the University of Tennessee, and it's thought to be the first arrangement or model of its kind, for all sports, is charging a 10% talent fee on tickets to help pay the athletes as part of revenue sharing. They call it part of an extensive plan to continue our dominance in college athletics and build something like never seen before, end quote. Their athletic director is Danny White. He said, quote, in this era of name, image, and likeness, there has never been as close a connection between resources and competitive success. We want to be a leader in college sports. That means we want to be a leader in revenue sharing, end quote. JJ, I'm going to tell you, I think I know. These are the models that are going for. You are going to not only be asked to pay, but if you are going to games, you are going to pay. Recent data said Tennessee football turned a $75 million profit in 2023. I just want you to think about that. UNM's athletic budget somewhere around $46, $48 million. Tennessee football turned a $75 million profit after $134.9 million in revenue and $59.1 in expenses. JJ, at some point it's going to hit here. How do you think it's going to go over?
Not well.
Not well to the point where people will stop going, stop supporting?
I won't say to that extent, but I do think that, like, if Tennessee has to do this, then yes. I don't think that it can be a sustainable model that you're going to compete 10 years from now. Because if you're seeing a school that turned a $75 million profit,
that had 100, this is just in football now. This is just in football. That the report is basically $135 million in football revenue, and their expenses were $59 million.
And they're like, well, we need 10% more from you to do this.
Yeah, and I don't know if the revenue sharing is just on the revenue or on the profit. And I got to believe it's on the revenue because most schools don't make profits. So revenue sharing on $135 million, as we're talking probably at 20%, is $27 million of that is going to the players. Plus,
wasn't the number 22, or can it be more?
Was what number?
The revenue sharing number.
22%?
No, 22 million.
Is it capped at 22 million? What are you saying?
Because that's the number that's been thrown around.
At Tennessee?
With the House settlement is 22 million. So I didn't know if it
was. I thought it was 20%. But I don't know that it's settled. I don't believe it to be. I've heard a bunch of numbers going around. So, okay, we're in the same ballpark, aren't we? 20 million, 22 million? I mean, we're in the same ballpark at Tennessee. So how is everybody else going to compete? And they're going to have to get creative. Oklahoma State, if you've watched an Oklahoma State game, there's a QR code on the back of the players' helmets. And you are being encouraged during games at Oklahoma State to scan the QR code and donate to their NIL fund. How are you going to get there? The large schools around the country, it's football, right? Tennessee's got a streak of 15 consecutive sellouts. That's an average of 101, almost 102,000 people per game. There's a season ticket waiting list of 15,000. I mean, it's like I told you the Michigan athletic director told me. They get 106,000 a game. I was trying to get, Addy only got half the season tickets. So I was trying to buy the other half. I didn't want anything free. I wanted to buy them. He said, Jeff, I don't have them. I said, come on. He says, this will blow your mind, right? We only get 21,000 season tickets for the students, and they're gone. I'm like, 21,000 for students? Are we going to get 21,000 any one game in University Stadium for a game this year? That's what you're trying to compete against. You're opening your season there next year. You're playing those guys. I mean, if you see your average ticket, right? Let's just say it's $150 times 100 and let's go, I don't know, super conservative. 105,000. 15.7 million, and they're playing 8 home games. Their ticket revenue is like 126 million. Just ticket revenue. Just ticket revenue. That's not sponsorship, parking, T-shirts, sodas, beers, hot dogs. How are you supposed to compete? Right? And so I am going to tell you this. I applaud Danny White in Tennessee. I applaud what Oklahoma State's doing. Now, Oklahoma State's doing it on a completely voluntary basis. Hey, here's a QR code on the back of our players' helmets. We'd like you to contribute. Tennessee's saying, hey. And they're in a position they can do it because they've got what did I just tell you, a 15,000 person season ticket waiting list? So, JJ, you don't want to spend the extra 10% plus the extra 4.5%. That's cool. Thanks for your support for the last 75 years, because this guy will. They can do it, and it's going to sustain there. How is this model going to work at Nevada, at New Mexico, at New Mexico State, at Boise State? If this is the model, or is there another model? I appreciate them getting creative. I do, because they have to. Everybody has to. So I guess my question is as we go through this, and look, Tennessee's going through a stretch of really good sports right now, right? Baseball won their first national championship. They became the first school in SEC history to win a conference championship in men's basketball, baseball, and softball in the same year. Men's basketball team went to the Elite Eight. Like they're rolling right now. It's a good vibe there, and that's a good time to go out.
Can you imagine paying your baseball coach $3 million a year?
It's good living, right? I'm going to continue this conversation a bit, but I want, if that was the model here, if you're a season ticket holder or an individual season ticket holder and an individual purchase, would that scare you away? Would you say, yeah, I'm good, I'm watching on TV? Would you stop? I'm curious. When we come back, well, I'll pose a question to Jerry Palm. He of CBS Sports. We're going to go through college football with him, his latest on realignment. Big games this weekend. Jerry Palm from CBS next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Do you know your number? No, not your credit score.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
And rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates,
Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Football home Saturday night, 6:30 over on News Radio KKOB. Pregame 5:30 with JJ and Ned. Fresno State's in town. Fresno State fresh off that 48-0 win over New Mexico State last week. Opening of conference play and homecoming out at University Stadium. Aggies will be on the road there at Sam Houston, and next week you get the rivalry of enchantment down in Las Cruces, New Mexico and New Mexico State. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. This time of week, always look forward to it. We get to check in with our good friend from CBS Sports, Jerry Palm, who joins us this morning. Good morning, Jerry. How you living?
I'm doing well.
You recovered? You recovered from that?
I'm actually in your time zone, I think.
Are you really?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
No. Oh, you're in the Western time zone. We're Mountain.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were Mountain or not. But yeah, we're going to go to see Purdue and Oregon State because we're gluttons for punishment.
Yeah, rough one, 64-7. I guess Notre Dame got healthy.
66-7.
Oh,
That's the worst loss in the 137-year history of Purdue football.
At least you got to see history. I mean, you were there for history.
Yeah, well, we're there for the band show on a day like that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, I want to start on kind of a broader picture on the realignment stuff and what you're hearing. ACC sounds like they're trying to make good with Clemson and Florida State in some sort of a revenue redistribution situation. The AAC sounds like they've reached out to Air Force. What are you hearing in regards to more realignment?
Yeah, I've heard both of those things. I assume that the ACC thing is to keep them in the league.
Sure.
But
and to drop the lawsuit.
Florida State might want to be quiet for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's something that kind of needs to be done, right? They need to do something because if those two end up, winning in court, then they've got, ACC's really got problems. So I think that's something that needs to be worked out. I have heard about the American reaching out to Air Force, and then I also heard that the Pac-12 has reached out to both Memphis and Tulane in the American. That kind of makes sense. I mean, it's not really geographically sensible, but since when did that matter anymore?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't, and those are two pretty good programs. I mean, Tulane has recently been the group of 5 representatives in the big bowl games, and Memphis is one of the leading candidates to do so this year. And they're both consistently good now, even through coaching changes. So I think that those two make sense for the Pac-12 in terms of trying to find, pretty competitive programs, even if they're not geographically the most compatible.
From where you sit, will there be a Mountain West Conference in 2026?
That's an excellent question. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know any of us do.
I'm going to say yes, there will be, but you may not recognize it.
Jerry Palm from CBS Sports is with us this morning on The Sports Animal.
Jerry, what we saw last week is Texas is really good. They have depth at quarterback. Arch Manning takes over for Quinn Ewers. Just the change there when they have to take a step up, what do you think that does for the offense, just the Longhorns overall continuing that momentum from last year?
Well, I think that they all knew that if something happened, Arch Manning was ready to go. I don't think any of them are surprised. And we didn't know. I can't really say I'm surprised. He was a very highly regarded recruit. There's never been anyone's expressed any doubt about his readiness. And so the fact that he was able to step in and keep things going, I don't think it's a big surprise. So, Texas is loaded. For a month into this season, they really look like the team to beat. Although, Georgia's still excellent. We haven't really seen Ohio State get tested yet. I mean, there's a lot of really good teams out there, but Texas has really been in top gear from the beginning.
SC and Michigan. Michigan's changing quarterbacks. So this goes one way or the other, doesn't it? Oftentimes, team switches a quarterback, and boom, there's the switch. It's what they need. Other times, you guys just aren't very good. Because as I look at it, SC's going in there off a bye week. 6 points doesn't feel like enough. I mean, my eyes tell me SC's better than Michigan.
Yeah, I think so too. But Michigan's playing at home. That didn't matter with Texas, but I'm not sure much matters with Texas. But USC, I think, is better. I think Michigan is going with the better quarterback, though. I mean, I think this is going to be a positive change for them. I think that, I don't know, 6 points feels okay to me. I like USC in this game, but I think Michigan's defense will not be tested like they were with Texas, and I think it'll allow them to hang around and at least make the game competitive.
All right, conference realignment leaves us with really interesting matchups every week. And all of a sudden, I got a league game between Utah and Oklahoma State, Tennessee and Oklahoma, and I'm going, okay, I guess I'm watching because there's something to watch now in every window. Utah Oklahoma State's really good.
Yeah, I think so too. And Utah's the favorite in the league, but they could lose this game and still be considered the favorite in the league because that league is going to be really competitive at the top with them. And Kansas seems to have dropped out. But Kansas State, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, I don't think there's a big gap among those four teams anywhere. So, Oklahoma State could win this week and still, someone else could win the league. I think that league at the top might be the most competitive just in terms of the number of teams involved. You could have a two conference loss winner in that league. So I think that's going to be really interesting. I like Utah in that game. I think Utah's the best team in the league, but Oklahoma State's got a fabulous running back in Gordon. I get his name right? Ollie. I think it's
Ollie.
Ollie Gordon. Yeah, so if they can control the ball and the clock, that's their best chance to win. That's always their best chance to win. But that league is going to be fun, I think, to watch this year at the top.
Jerry, you mentioned the schedules. They're going to change soon for a lot of these teams when you get into conference play. And one of those teams, you're looking at Ole Miss. How good are they and how good will they be?
Well, and Tennessee is the same questions, although they beat up on what we thought was a pretty decent North Carolina State team. But, Mississippi, we just got to wait and see. They're going to be explosive offensively, and then there's going to be teams in that league where that may not be enough, or they may be limited offensively by some pretty good defenses in the SEC. I think that we'll find out about Ole Miss, but they're going to be one of those teams that's really competitive. I think Tennessee is another. The Tennessee-Oklahoma game is really interesting for me because it's a road test for Tennessee. Their offense has just been ridiculous. Their quarterback has been tremendous. He's probably going to be a Heisman candidate as things go. But Tennessee, if they want, they feel like they've been under-respected. If they can win at Oklahoma, then that really changes the outlook for Tennessee this season.
Now, there's one Friday night that when people look at the schedule, they'll see numbers by these teams' names. Illinois, Nebraska.
Yeah.
What do you make of that contest?
Yeah, Nebraska, their new quarterback, Raiola, has been really good. And that's what, Nebraska really needed because their offense the last few years has been pretty stagnant, and he's really given them a lot of juice. Illinois started the season with a win at home over Kansas, but then Kansas, maybe that's not as good a win as we originally thought. This is going to be a real good test for Illinois. They're primarily a defensive team, and that defense is really going to get tested. And if their defense can hold up, then they've got a chance to pull an upset. But I kind of like Nebraska in this game.
I want to parlay off the Kansas thing. I watched UNLV go in there the other night, and what a good win for UNLV. And that's a program that has been irrelevant for a long, long time. And I don't know, man. They might be, and I want to see them play Fresno State and Boise State, but they went on the road at Houston in the Big 12. They went on Kansas in the Big 12. And what Barry Odom's put together there is pretty good. Last year, I thought they were terrific. They lose their quarterback. They've reloaded. That's a huge win for UNLV. And eye test tells me, Northern Illinois got the big win. They've got two big wins. Boise State seems good. Fresno State seems nice. But they may be the best Group of 5 team.
Well, that'll be interesting because if they can win the Mountain West, now they might have to be undefeated to get to that label, especially if Northern finishes undefeated or Memphis finishes undefeated. If you've got an undefeated team in some other league, one loss may not be good enough.
So let me ask you this. Let's just play a scenario. Let's say they go undefeated. And so does Northern and so does Memphis. Northern's got the win over Notre Dame, but their league it probably isn't as tough, right? Memphis has the win over Florida State, which does. I mean, Florida State's 0-3.
So to me, Northern is not the favorite in that league. Toledo is.
I totally understood. So so if they go through though, they got that. That would mean UNLV went on the road at Kansas, at Houston, beat Boise State, Fresno State. I think they get them both in league. Yeah. Who's got the better run?
That's hard to say. If all three of those are undefeated, first of all, I don't think, unless Notre Dame is up there as a playoff team, I don't think Northern makes it. Okay. If all three of them are undefeated, so then it comes down to Memphis and UNLV and whose schedules end up being better. Does Florida State come back at all? Is UNLV is Kansas going to come back at all? Because those are two teams that more were thought of, and I don't think I know Florida State hasn't won. I don't think Kansas has won yet either. So unless they got an FCS game in there somewhere. So we'll have to see how the non-conference schedules work out, but the Mountain West is probably stronger top to bottom than the American, or at least at the top. So it could end up working out for UNLV.
All right, lastly, I want to hit you on this model that Tennessee's implementing. 4.5% increase on all their tickets, and then a 10% talent fee on all their tickets to help pay for student talent. They can do it because they got a 15,000 person waiting list for football. Is that a model that works? Is that something that's going to be picked up? Is this kind of a test balloon?
In that scenario, maybe. For programs like that, perhaps. I don't. I'm a Purdue guy. I don't think that's going to fly at Purdue.
Yeah.
But
so how does Purdue do it? So I mean, what's the other model? There's got to be ways. Everybody's going to have to find ways to raise revenue, especially if revenue sharing is 20-22%, whatever the number is.
Yeah. But there's there'll probably be at schools like Purdue, which just is the example that I know best. Raising money is going to have to be done in other ways. You can't price season ticket holders out of the market. Tennessee, you can. You control your market a little bit, and you still got like that big waiting list. So in that situation, you can do it that way. Other schools are going to have to do it through more traditional means.
Yeah. All right, enjoy Portland. Hopefully you get a better result. 66-7 is a paddling. That's a tough one to get out of your mouth.
It's going to be hard not to get a better result, even if they lose. Oregon State got their butts kicked last week, too.
Yep, by a good Oregon team.
So a couple of angry teams on the field this week.
Yeah, hopefully the weather's good up there. When the weather's
thanks for waking up early, though.
Yeah, that is early for you now.
Oh, no, gosh, are you kidding? I've been up since, 3:30.
You ever been up there? That's a good part of the world.
No, I've been to now 48 states. Oregon, this is my first time here. So the only two left are Alaska and yours.
All right, well,
New Mexico. I still haven't made it to New Mexico.
I mean, it's pretty easy. You're on the radio here every week. You probably need to get down here and have some green chili.
Yeah, yep. It's
we'll get you
time,
here.
Really.
Yeah, we'll get you here. All right, safe travels home. Enjoy the weekend. Always appreciate it. Read him daily over on CBSSports.com. On the X, it's JP Palm CBS. Great follow, and he's here with us on Thursdays. Appreciate you, Jerry. Be well.
All right, thanks.
See you. Jerry Palm, CBS Sports. I think he's right. It works at a place like Tennessee. It'll work at Michigan. It'll work at Alabama. He said it doesn't work at Purdue, and I just, like I said, if UNM and basketball might be different. But if they came to you and said, hey, basketball, we're raising tickets 4.5%, which, okay, you kind of expect that. And we're adding a 10% talent fee on every ticket. How would you respond? Would you still be in? you'd probably say, yeah, that some of you would say, yeah, that's where it's going. That's what we need to do. And I don't know. I mean, how many of you would say, yeah, I'm out? And I still think on level basketball, the number that says I'm out would be small. So we'll see. Yeah.
There's a lot we got to get this break, though.
All right. And I'll tell you about on-the-spot automotive detailing when we get back. On 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
or surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
They will detail your vehicle wherever and whenever you want it. That means they come to you and do the best in the city service. Detailing is what the auto dealers do. That's how your car would look and felt and smelled like it did brand new the day you took it off the lot. And you can have that feel without getting a new car. It is a great gift. And it's not just detailing it on the spot. It's window tinting and ceramic coating and paint protection film. It's all online at otsdetailing.com. They've been voted best in the city because they are best in the city. I use on-the-spot automotive detailing. I love the service. I know you will as well. Give them a look at otsdetailing.com. That's otsdetailing.com. You can book and buy there. Or you can give them a call at 505-859-2859. Area code 505-859-2859. JJ, good stuff this weekend. His thoughts on UNLV is interesting, and I guess we got to watch the Group of 5 thing play out. UNLV is going to get a lot tougher schedule out of the Mountain West as we go over the next few. I say a lot tougher. I mean, Kansas and Houston was pretty good for them, right? You're like,
Well, at some point, too, I think we have to raise the expectations for the teams top of the Mountain West Conference. Houston's not good. That shouldn't be a game that you go, wow, you won at Houston.
All right.
The Kansas one, yeah, they were 9.5-point dogs. Go out there, win that game at Kansas. That was impressive. And when you do it with a change at quarterback, when you lose a player like they did to USC, who's a backup,
Malva,
by the way,
yep,
at USC,
yep,
and still bring in a transfer to play that high, that's a credit to the program.
All right, so they're off this week. They get Fresno State at home next week. They get Syracuse at home the week after. Then they get road games at Utah State and Oregon State, and then Boise State at home. So they got some games coming up. They got to play Boise State, Oregon State, Syracuse, Fresno State. Right? We'll see. If they get through all that, man, they're legit. I think it's a pretty good round.
Group of 5 teams. Win your conference and put yourself in the best position. That's all you can do.
And see what Boise State does, too.
Get ranked high and get that wild card playoff spot.
Yeah, and, Boise State's got the one loss at Oregon. They get Portland State this week. Then they get Washington State up at their place. They still have UNLV. They got, San Jose State looks like they might be good. They close with Oregon State.
If Portland State can get over the whooping cough.
How about that last week? Whooping cough went through their locker room, and so they
on the Oregon Trail the week before.
Jerry better be careful. I mean, he's up there, right? Never been here. How does he not know we're in the Mountain Time Zone? I know.
It's that Midwest East Coast thing. Nothing exists out there but rocks.
Ain't nothing live out there but rocks. I know. All right, 505-246-0610. That's how to get here today. Love your conversation. Shedeur Sanders explained why he reacted to Colorado State's quarterback the way he did after the rivalry game. You can make your decision on how you feel, but it's all the media's fault. It's the opening. It always is. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit. I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info,
it's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
NFL week starts tonight here on the Sports Animal. We'll have the Patriots and the Jets for you. AFC East, Aaron Rodgers' first game back at MetLife Stadium since, well, his first game on the field. He's been back, but since blowing out his Achilles in game one of last year. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck walking you through the day. Bryce Young conversation, the new Hall of Fame nominees. Jordan Love may play. Justin Herbert might not, although that means they both might go the other way on that. Brewers clinched the National League Central yesterday. Yankees were in the playoffs, and New Mexico United with a big 3-1 victory over Sacramento Republic yesterday out at the ball pitch, and they clinch a playoff spot and pretty much put away the Western Conference with a 10-point lead in 5 games left. So they're in a good place with 3 second-half goals yesterday to win that game. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. 888-922-0610. So this to me, and there's a bunch of, I got a bunch of stuff I still want to do. I guess I should do this first because we teased this going into the break. Colorado State, that rivalry has intensified over the last couple of years, hasn't it? You lived up there for a bit. Was it always intense, or was it just kind of
like this? A lot of this is just the hype from Deion Sanders coming in at CU, people pushing back on that and igniting a fire under it, but it hasn't ever really been one of those rivalries that you're like, wow. I think for Colorado State,
it's been hammer and nail, right?
Yeah, for Colorado State, it was more the border war with Wyoming that mattered.
It always seemed that way. This has always been more of a hammer and nail thing, right? Colorado just beating up on Colorado State, but they play it because I guess they're mandated to, or whatever the reason is.
You play because you should.
I agree with that, 100%. I mean, like beyond 100%, if that's possible. Yeah. And then it got remember last year, it got personal. That was the whole thing. When Jay Norvell said something, that the head coach of Colorado State, I don't remember what he said. It was his
talking about wearing sunglasses.
Oh, yeah. So when
hat,
a man in respect, you take your glasses off and your hat off when you go inside and you speak to someone, and that got to Deion. And remember, then it's what is it? It's personal. What is this? It's personal, right? So they needed something to get them. And that game was incredible last year, the game in Boulder. Last week, not as much. I think it was 28-9 or something. Yeah, 28-9. Colorado beat Colorado State. They played that game on campus in Fort Collins at CSU. After the game, there's a video that's going around. And it shows Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback at Colorado and the son of the head coach, not shaking hands with Colorado State's quarterback, Braden Fowler Nicolosi. And, Shedeur was asked about it, and it was pretty real. He said something, man, you talk a lot on Instagram. And so Shedeur was asked on his legendary, or what is it, 2 legendary podcasts. And he said his response and the way he handled it was because of the trash talk from Fowler Nicolosi. And Shedeur said that he felt disrespected and didn't want to act like everything was all good between the two. This is a quote from Shedeur yesterday. After the game, I said something to the Colorado State quarterback because he was talking crazy on social media. And he was really doing it for the clicks. Yeah, I said something because I'm human. You're not going to keep talking crazy about us and keep talking crazy like you that, and the whole time you're not like that at all. He said, I felt like a lot of – so what went on, right? I mean, he talked about the backlash, and, again, it's the media. And you decide if it's the media or not. Because sometimes everybody plays the whole it's us against the world thing, right? Quote Shedeur again. It felt like a lot of hate out there to me personally. But, of course, the media tried to portray it like I did something wrong. That's just how it is. We understood what's going on, so we don't get affected by it anymore. We'll see how far Instagram followers got them. That's what Nicolosi said. So is this all about the media?
This one is on the media.
In what way?
Because
they saw
it's
the
put
response
out there.
Yeah.
And what Colorado has to understand, what Deion Sanders has to understand, is no matter what they do, good or bad, there's people that are always going to be on one side or the other.
Okay.
Because they're easy to root against. They bring a lot of stuff on themselves. It's not always the media creation. But this is one, it was post-game, and the clip that went viral.
Where did it come from? Did it come from the media or social media?
It was social media.
Was it Colorado social media that put it out?
No, it was just
some guy with a phone?
Everyone rushes to
All right.
midfield, and Colorado State quarterback comes over, has his hand out, but Shedeur just kind of goes to say something, point. And then Colorado State's quarterback immediately turns away and walks away.
Right.
And then so people were like, the dude put his hand out. Why aren't you shaking his hand? And who knows what would have happened if there was a 15-second interaction. Because the Colorado State quarterbacks didn't want to take it either. Didn't want to hear what Shedeur had to say, so he walks away. And then people are saying, well, that's just poor sportsmanship on Shedeur Sanders. He should have shook his hand. He had something to say to someone that had something to say about him. Real quick at the end of the game.
And so
5-second clip.
So when was there a lot of hate in the media about it?
Well, on social media, and then media, there's been a lot of people in the media writing about the program, yes, but negatively in terms of, that's poor sportsmanship. Shedeur Sanders, so he can't draft the kid in the first round. This is a program Deion Sanders runs.
All right, let me ask you, because I got my feelings, and I'll tell you what they are, but I'm going to ask you first. So what was said by the Colorado State quarterback basically is, they do this for the clicks or whatever. Let's see how far Instagram followers get you. At the end of the day, they got to line their 11 up against our 11 on Saturday, and we'll see who's what. So they did, and they kicked your ass, right? And Shedeur felt slighted by that. He felt like his team went out and they won the game. Is Shedeur compelled to shake this guy's hand, or are you okay with him telling him what he thinks?
Well, who knows if he would have, because immediately when Shedeur went to say something, he just kind of had his hand up pointing.
Yeah.
Colorado State's quarterback walked away.
Probably best on his part to avoid a confrontation, no?
Yeah, but then it's all on Shedeur for being the poor sport and not shaking his hand.
Yeah, I know. I don't got a problem with what Shedeur did.
I think this is one that this is blown up. Like, it's two competitors that were going at it. They had a moment of talk. And then it goes back to what you want. If they were out there changing jerseys, taking selfies, you'd have people going, well, this is why these kids these days are soft. They don't care. They like each other too much. And then you have a moment where there's some animosity, and then it's like, well, that's poor sportsmanship, and these guys are terrible. It's like you can't win no matter what you do.
That's because I think everybody with a microphone or a pen has to have some crazy take.
Like, there's other stuff. Yeah. Like, the Deion going off on the media all the time, like, I don't agree with that. I think he brings that on himself with a lot of the stuff. The fact that, Colorado talks just as much as other teams.
What was Deion
I saw
saying?
Shiloh Sanders in the coin flip for the Nebraska game say, we're going to kick your bleeping butts. And he was nowhere to be found because they got their butts kicked.
Yeah,
so it goes both ways. I think this is a situation that was blown up because every situation with Colorado is, and not one that there's some gigantic thing to read into.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to agree with you. I don't have a problem with it. If you're going to talk bleep about me from afar, not to my and JJ, I've said this how many times. You got a problem with me, come tell me to my face. Don't go cry to my boss, or don't go cry on social media. You got a problem, tell me. Let's figure it out. Like adult human beings, like men. Okay? Now, this quarterback doesn't have a chance to get face-to-face with Shedeur, but Shedeur obviously had a problem with him and said it to him. I don't have a problem with what Shedeur did. I really don't. And I'm going to tell you, I think it's probably best that Colorado State's kid walked away and didn't have a confrontation, because that could have gotten ugly, and there's cameras everywhere. It was probably best on his part, Braden Fowler Nicolosi, to walk away. Went over to shake his hands. Shedeur started chirping at him, which, again, I don't have a problem with Shedeur saying what he said. But I think it's really strong on Braden's part to walk away and say, I don't need a scene here, man. And they're both emotional right after their game. I just got my ass kicked. Went over to shake his hand. He wants nothing to do with me. We're good, man. Do you disagree with that?
No, I'm fine with that, but then it's blown up into Shedeur's a poor sportsman. The dude came over to shake your hand.
Look, and I'm not going to eat that one.
Yeah,
because you and I don't feel
I'm
that
right
way.
there with you on that. This is one where you had two competitors right after the game was over. Quick flash in the pan moment. You moved on.
Right.
You don't need to make it more.
Let me parlay that into the next one. Where Dion this week in his press conference accused the media, and this has just become a Dion against the media thing. And I know in his bubble he thinks everybody's on his side, right? When you surround yourself with people who think like you, and they're going to tell you you're right. And I know they've bunkered down, and it's us against the world. The whole, you guys, and you looked at the media, and I'm paraphrasing it, but you're jealous because these kids make more money than you. Why the constant attack on the media? The media's job, and I've said this a million times, is not to be your damn PR agency. You got people for that. The media's job, and they feel the media is overly critical. Maybe they are, but the media's job is to tell stories, be factual, and in some cases give opinion. Is Dion doing himself any good, both in the immediate and the future, by basically picking, and he'll tell you he didn't pick this fight, but he certainly extends it, perpetuates it, brings it on a regular basis with the media. You think he's doing himself any favors?
No.
Why am I going there? Why? What? Because these kids make more money than you. You guys are jealous of them. That's what he said this week.
Yeah, I thought that was like an unnecessary shot.
And then he wonders why they're writing some of the stuff that he doesn't seem to like. You're not going to get the slang you get. Look, Shaquille O'Neal played the media better than anybody I've ever seen in the history of sports. Laughed with him, joked with him, and they loved him, and they covered him, and they wrote great things. And I get it. Sometimes that's not the goal. But then you can't complain about it. If that's how you're going to treat them, and we can trace this back branch by branch by branch by branch, who started the battle with Dion in the media? I don't know. I don't even care. I just know it's perpetuated at every damn press conference, isn't it? And then, Shedeur, I got no problem with Shedeur, with what he did the other day. I honestly don't. You want to talk crap about me in social media, then you want to come shake my hand. I'm going to tell you straight up, if I've been sitting on a problem, I'm going to tell you. I was in a meeting the other day. I've been sitting on a problem for 2.5 years. I brought it up. Right? Now, I shouldn't have sat on it for 2.5 years, but I don't have a problem with where he went. I love what you think. You guys have opinions. Like, where are you on Colorado? They were the darlings of the world, of the college world. Where are you now? Are you rooting for him? You root against him? Because there was a minute that I think the majority of people were rooting for him. And maybe it's because they continued to talk when they were losing, that they lost a lot of people. That might be it. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Dirty Boys present Fill in the Hole.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM.
In Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Had a conversation earlier about how would you feel about Lobo basketball asking you to help with a talent fee, pay NIL. Tennessee's doing that for football. How'd that work here? I got a couple of responses on that. So the model is at Tennessee, they raised ticket price about 4.5%, and they're tacking on a 10%, quote, talent fee, end quote. That'll help pay the student athletes to every ticket and every season ticket. Text line is 505-246-0610. This says UNM basketball already makes us season ticket holders donate to the Lobo Club for any seats purchased lower than row 10 in the pit. Adding a talent fee on top of that would definitely be a hard thing to accept. Okay? This one says, I thought that was going to be the only one on that. This one's on Colorado. Colorado was never the darling of NCAA football, in large part because it was never winning as much as was expected or as much as hyped. Okay. I don't think anybody ever said Colorado was the darling of college football.
They were a giant storyline at the beginning of last season.
Yeah, actually, maybe I did say it. So I said
they
something
had a
along those
lot
lines.
of people jumping on the bandwagon with Deion
Yeah,
Sanders
okay.
getting a power conference job.
Yeah, so let me rephrase that, because maybe I did say something along those lines. I was thinking much more historically. Yeah, at the beginning of last season, and I remember rolling into Colorado last year for the Lobo Wyoming game. That was the day SC played there, and they played at 10 in the morning because they won it on Big Noon. Remember? And all that hype that was going on when they beat TCU to open the season. Wasn't that their opening game last year? TCU was coming off the national championship game appearance. Colorado went down there, beat TCU, who ended up not being very good. And then they had the Colorado State game, and they start like 2-0, 3-0, whatever it was. Yeah, they were the darling. They absolutely were. So to say they never were the darling, yeah, no, there was about a month period that they absolutely were, and everything that they did, and
yeah, they beat TCU, Nebraska, first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah,
game days out there, like week 3 for Colorado State.
Yeah, and everybody's on the sideline.
Everyone was
there.
watching that game. That Saturday night.
Yeah,
because it was an ESPN broadcast.
Great game, right?
It goes to double overtime.
Yeah.
And then life hits him in the face.
The SC game came, right?
No, there was Oregon. And it was Dan Lanning.
Oregon knocked
his pregame
the
speech,
crap out of them.
42-6. And then the next week it was 48-41. Caleb Williams and USC. But that's when reality hit, when they got the mighty Pac-12 conference.
Yeah. But, Oregon with that.
Those 3 weeks,
yeah,
they were the story of college football.
The TCU game, they were a big story. Then they beat them. So then Nebraska. Then they beat them. You're right. When game day was there for Colorado State, and Will Ferrell and The Rock, and everybody who was somebody found a way. When LeBron James there, like everybody was there for that damn game. Yeah, I was in Boulder, and then they played the USC game at 10 o'clock in the morning because Fox wanted it on Big Noon. Is that what they call it? Their 10 o'clock Mountain Time game? Yeah. So they were. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. I got a story, 923. So I held this story because most of you have eaten by now. You know where I'm going?
Yes.
We've all put our hands in something that you just went, what have I done, right?
It's called having kids.
Yeah, fair enough.
The amount of stuff that you end up touching.
Yeah, I think that's
your
fair.
young children. You got to clean stuff up. Tummy doesn't feel good. Whew.
Yeah, fair enough. When you're a quarterback, you put your, if you go under center, you put your hands under a man's sweaty.
They're up in there.
Right?
Get that snap.
It's warm and sweaty and got to be uncomfortable, right? Where you're putting your hands under a large man's fanny, right? But you don't expect this. Like, at what point, if you're a quarterback and you get the ball and it comes back to you and there's vomit on it, you throw it a wet football, you throw it a ball with snow, vomit? Packers center Josh Myers threw up on the football right before he snapped it to Malik Willis the other day. It happens on the field. Dudes puke. You see it all the time. Well, not all the time, but you see it a number of times a year. Guy on the football. It was a pass play, which in its own right, Malik Willis is an anomaly. Malik got the ball and ran the play. Didn't throw it because, well, there was vomit on it. Quote from Malik Willis: I didn't know whether it would get snapped or not. He jumped straight into blocking. He did a great job. I was surprised he got the ball off, and then he started blocking. It was awesome. Do your job.
Yeah, it was instantaneous. You see the video? It was just like, ugh, snap.
Red 42.
Like no time.
Green 18. Green 18. Go.
And they saw, this came out because Matt LaFleur last Sunday was like, I'm going to tell this story. It's like, so there was a third down play. I asked Malik Willis why he didn't throw the football, and he's like, because our center
Because there was Zook all over it. It came back, and I had Zook all over it. It was on my hands. It was like, dude, look, okay, there's a lot of things.
That guy ain't soft.
Dude,
that's how offensive linemen are built.
I'm not going to lie. My gag reflex kicks in with other people's vomit. Like, it just does.
Do you know how many high school football coaches use that story this week?
Because it happens all the time.
I'm just like, you want to be a man?
Yeah.
You want to make the NFL? You throw up on the football and snap it.
And see what your quarterback does. Malik Willis, the quarterback, said that he would never have talked about it if he didn't know people would take it as, the center's fault. He said, I told him I'm sorry a bunch of times because I think he's getting a lot of flack. He was working so hard. He threw up. A lot of stuff's going through your mind when you're throwing up, and one of them's not football.
That's a really good quote from Malik Willis.
It's so good. Dude, there's so few things I like doing less than, like, vomiting and moving are two of my least favorite things. Vomiting and moving. I can't stand it.
I don't think you're going to find people that vomiting's high up on their list of favorite things.
It's one of the worst things, period. Your whole body feels like, I want you to think about, I want you to think about puking. I mean, okay, but
I want you to go to the gym tonight.
But go ahead and puke, and then seconds later have a 300-pound man trying to run through you.
Run 3 miles.
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw up. Get back on the treadmill.
And then have a 300-pound man try to run through you and keep him away from your quarterback, who's, by the way, got your Zook all over the football that's in his hand, and he didn't know what the hell to do with. That's an insane story, dude. But my favorite part of it is Malik Willis saying a lot of stuff's going through your mind when you're throwing up, and football's not one of them. It's just so good. Because, well, yeah. It's like, yeah. Yeah, all right. All right, where are the Steelers going with quarterback? Is it Russ? Oh, well, you're 2-0. Or are you staying with Fields? There's really no urgency, is there, to get the other guy back in? Get you a little update on that next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Dirty Boys present Fill in the Hole.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots?
Good stuff on the NFL slate this week. It starts tonight. We got it for you right here on the Sports Animal. Your home for the National Football League, where we'll load you up on stuff. Jets and Patriots tonight. You know, I was looking at our, I guess it doesn't matter. Let's look at our 3-for-all. I had a good week, man. 3-0 is good. See if I can parlay that again. Doesn't do me any good if I'm just sitting here and not taking it to the bank, though, huh?
Well, I think we need to talk to our friends over at the Legend Sportsbook and see if we can get something going. Or we can get some of these bets in, since they are
I just gotta
sponsors of the opening drive.
Yep. All right, 505-246-0610. Who's going to be the quarterback for the Steelers? So the Steelers and Chargers. I think, there's a question. Who's going to be the quarterback for the Chargers this week, too? If we missed it earlier, Justin Herbert is questionable. He had x-rays after the game. Ankle. His head coach, Jim Harbaugh, isn't making any predictions about who's going to be the quarterback, so Easton Stick could be the backup quarterback. It could be Stick versus Fields, because it looks like Justin Fields is going to get another start for the Steelers. It's the home opener. They're 2-0. Mike Tomlin is talking about him all of a sudden now. Yeah, he loves to compete. He's got a quiet confidence about him. He doesn't change the environments. There's a clarity in his communication, his response to communications that's really comfortable. And we know that Mike Tomlin loves himself some Russell Wilson, right? Fields 30 for 43, 273 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Carried the ball 22 times for 84 yards. I don't know how sustainable this is long term. And especially if they ever get down in a game, right? How they're going to come back.
If they get down, it's over. Their style is how they won 10 games last year. It's defense. It's keeping it close. And that's what you're asking Justin Fields or Russell Wilson to do. And right now, Justin Fields, he's winning. He's not turning the football over, and he does give you that little added element. We haven't seen it big time yet. But the explosiveness in the run game that he can bring, you keep it rolling. Because we know the answer to that question. If they get down,
well, they're going to at some
point.
It's over. At some point, they're going to get down, and he's going to have to throw the ball. I mean, they're not going to play from ahead all year. This is the NFL. At some point, they're going to be down. Whether it's because of turnover, or because somebody comes in and scores a couple touchdowns against their offense. I mean, they're against their defense. They're going to get down. And so I want to see it. And it's going to be interesting to see if Russell Wilson's healthy, and he's going to be in the next few weeks. If they beat the Chargers, and it's realistic that they beat the Chargers this weekend, right? If they beat the Chargers this weekend and go 3-0, and all of a sudden Russ is healthy, and he was your number one quarterback. After this, you got Colts, Cowboys, Raiders, Jets, Giants, Commanders. I mean, you got a manageable slate, man. Do you pull your quarterback at 3-0 even though his numbers aren't great?
I'm actually starting to buy into the fact that this was never Russell Wilson's job.
Kind of what I was telling you all off season, right? That this was going to be Justin Fields. But what you're saying is they placed it as he's the front runner. But you think it was an open competition?
I think it was very convenient when the calf injury happened.
Okay.
So Russell, you think Russ will set you down?
Russ just played along with this?
It's the weirdest thing too, and you see Russell Wilson active. He's standing there on the sidelines in shoulder pads, like waiting.
Like, what's he suited up for? Is he going to play? If Fields gets hurt, is he going to play?
If he's active, yes.
I mean,
but not in that scenario because he's inactive.
So what's he in shoulder pads for?
Dude,
he's the weirdest, the most different, weirdest, cringiest, like character, right? He's not He's not a fascinating character where it's like, well, I want to get into his mind. I want to sit down with him. He's not funny as hell. Like, I want to sit down and laugh with that. But he's so fascinating to the respect of, like, who he is, what he is, his interaction with people, the trajectory of his career.
I think the cliff happened a lot faster than we expected, but that
was quite steep.
Yeah. And when is it not? A lot of times with these guys, when we have them.
Rodgers is gradual. You don't think? Rodgers is gradual.
Aaron Rodgers hasn't done a lot more than Russell Wilson the last. I'm not talking about the injury. I mean, even before that last, he was 9-8 with the Packers.
Yeah, but he, numbers wise, right? He was not better.
It's not. It doesn't blow your socks off.
That's kind of the gradual decline I was talking about. Yeah.
Well, Russell Wilson's was fine last year.
The year before was horrible.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett.
Fair enough. What's the common denominator with those two? I mean, fair enough. I kind of cringe when I hear people tell me, well, they got a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback. Do they really? Like, tell me what I'm missing. The conversation we had earlier about Eli Manning, who's 10th in the history of the NFL on the passing list, 500 quarterback in the regular season, won 2 Super Bowls, beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in both those Super Bowls. Like, tell me where I'm missing. And I get it. He's borderline Hall of Fame. Russ won 1, should have won a 2nd. And I guess then we'd really be having a different conversation if he hands the ball off instead of throws that ball. But he threw the damn interception. How is he a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback? Do his numbers support that?
The passing yardage isn't going to get there. He's 19th right now. And so he's not going to climb that list with his play and then where he's at in his career. But so he's top 20 passer in the NFL right now. 8 10-plus win seasons in the NFL.
Okay.
115 and 72 overall.
115 and 72 is a pretty good record.
So
I'll give
I think we are sour on Russell Wilson for the last few years and forgetting that he was one of the top quarterbacks in the game for a while.
Okay. Yeah, touchdowns to interceptions was pretty good for a while. Is it? All right. I'm not there. But I don't have to be. I'm not a voter. Yeah, I mean,
this is the debates. Like, these guys that have good careers don't wow you. That's Eli Manning, even with 2 Super Bowl wins. That's Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson has one, but a better regular season career than Eli Manning.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go another way on you. I'm going to give you 3 undefeated teams. Okay? And they're all going to be in the NFC. None, which ones make the playoff? Minnesota's 2-0. New Orleans, Tampa. I said, well, yeah, go New Orleans instead of Tampa Bay, and Seattle. But you can throw all 4 of them in if you want. New Orleans, Seattle, Minnesota. Who makes the playoffs? They're all started 2-0. We had the conversation about if you're 0-2, only 2 teams have made the playoffs in the last 5 years. Okay. Those teams are 2-0. Minnesota, Seattle, and New Orleans. All, none, some make the playoffs. And which ones, if some? See, I think New Orleans and Seattle make the playoffs. I think Seattle takes that spot that we all gave to the Rams early in the year.
Okay.
And New Orleans just looks nice. New Orleans just looks nice. Both sides of the football, nice. I get it. Carolina's not a test. We're going to get a whole better read on them when they play the Eagles this week. I'm about it. But I think, and DK Metcalf came up yesterday. I thought I had a great quote when was asked about, do you think your quarterback, Geno Smith, is underrated? He said, man, y'all been disrespecting that man and calling him underrated for years. When are you going to give him his credit? Like, Geno's played well enough. They got weapons. If they get look, Charbonnet's running. If they get Walker back, I like what Seattle.
Charbonnet had 29 yards against the Patriots.
Is that all he had? What do you have receiving?
But he had a touchdown. He didn't have. It was all Smith and Jigba, DK Metcalf, which is fine. Like, that was, they destroyed the Patriots in the passing game. But Kenneth Walker comes back in a couple of weeks, full go. He's set. I think all four.
All four make the playoffs.
Because the Saints and Buccaneers,
all right,
I believe in them. I think the Falcons chip in there. But the only teams like outside that I like that I would say, all right, this is a playoff team. San Francisco.
All right, so that's 5 playoffs. Because we got 5, 6,
Philadelphia.
7. Those are your playoff teams. So you think Philadelphia? So that you just pick your playoff teams right now, and that's fine. Philadelphia, Detroit, Minnesota, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Seattle, San Francisco.
I still think, and it's going to be close. I think when it comes down to Seattle and Arizona.
Okay, boy, in Arizona. All right, Pittsburgh's 2-0. The Chargers are 2-0. They both make the playoffs. Neither make the playoffs. One of them makes the playoffs.
I think one of them makes the playoffs.
Which one? Pittsburgh, right? I know.
Like they're the same team to me.
In a lot of respects. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really excied to see if
And they play
Herbert
each other
plays
this
this
weekend.
weekend. How that offense, can they find some of a run game? Because J.K. Dobbins has been phenomenal, but he's not going to be that explosive against the Steelers.
I agree.
So can Herbert be efficient with his weapons against that defense?
All right, 505-246-0610. You're so welcome in. We'll wrap it up for you when you get back. Everything you got to know as you go through your Thursday here in the Porque. I tell you all the time about IPS, International Protective Service, because I believe in what they do. I believe that they give you results. They watch my home for years. They watch homes and businesses all over Albuquerque and Santa Fe, and they get results. And the results is they keep the bad guys away. Property crime is real. The officer shortage is real. And that's why you need this extra layer of affordable private security. IPS is at retail outlets. You see them everywhere you go. You see them around your neighborhood. They are private security that not only is security officers, which standing guards, patrols, whatever it is you need, but they also will install alarms and camera systems. They've got a state-of-the-art facility that monitors those cameras 24/7. It just raises the level of security around your home and around your business. So you got to ask yourself the question, who's watching your home when you're away? And don't let it be the bad guys. A quick response to your alarm, standing guards at your business. It's what IPS does. You sleep better at night. Understanding you can't prevent all the crime. Also understanding you've got no protection, you're more likely to be victimized. The number is 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. International Protective Services making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Where we start the football week. Jets, Patriots tonight here on the Sports Animal. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Thanks for being with us. Text line says, Russ has to be dressed out as the emergency third quarterback. New rules say you only have to have your backup active. Should Fields and Kyle Allen get hurt in a game, Russ is next. He's a weird dude, but the being dressed out thing is the same thing every other emergency quarterback does across the league. Can't trot back to the locker room to get dressed if the two ahead of you get hurt. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't questioning that as much as is he physically able. Like if he's hurt, then why is he dressed out? That's what I was asking. If he's hurt and he can't play, but if he's your third guy, I guess that means he can be thrown in there and hand the ball off, right? That's all I was asking.
I don't. We need to clarify that because if you're listed as inactive, you cannot get into the game.
What about the third quarterback?
You have to be active, even as an emergency.
And he was
be inactive.
And he was listed as inactive.
Yeah. There's a difference.
Oh, dude was dressed out. That's all I know.
I do think that's a good clarification.
Yeah, no.
Because being inactive, you can't just be like, oh, I listed my running back as inactive.
I don't know.
I know there's an emergency quarterback rule, but I don't think that that person can be inactive.
Yeah. All right, John says, good morning, guys. Yeah, vomit in football. I sometimes have had the urge to vomit when the Broncos don't get the win. Makes me sick. Ugh, thanks for that. Yeah, welcome. Center pukes on ball and gives it right back to the quarterback. How would you react? Like, honestly, I think I'm impressed on so many levels by that play. This is the Josh Myers, the center for the Packers, puking literally, green 19, set, go, and he sends it back.
I'll give him credit. He turned his head enough, so it wasn't like full on,
just coated like smothered burrito.
Then it would have been like I think there would have been a real issue of even finishing the play running wise.
All right, you're the dude. You get the ball, like you can't fumble a football. You got a vomit-covered ball in your hand. And then how do you get it off? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you get rid of that smell and that?
You smell. It's a football field, man. Your pads probably are.
Yeah, but that's a different smell. Like, you're used to locker room smell. You've been in a hockey locker room. You know that different smell. You're used to that. ever see someone first go into a hockey locker room? It's like, whoa, like that. There's nothing like that. You can't bottle it. You can't find it anywhere but a hockey locker room. And locker rooms stink, dude. I get that. Football fields stink. Vomit.
That's why he's a dog.
He is a dog. I'm impressed that dude puked and was able to block a 300-pound man in front of you.
Willis didn't fumble the football. Got to the sideline.
I'm impressed by
special
every
teams
aspect
out
of
there, made football, played a field position game.
I'm impressed by all of it. Can I give you another one? I'm impressed by Will Levis. Not by his play, because he made bonehead plays, and his coach, Brian Callahan, just chewed on him, right? Yelled at him, screamed at him. That's what coaches do. Will Levis, quote, I didn't bat an eye at it. I took the coaching. I was yelling at myself in my head the same way he was yelling at me. I know it's an emotional response that we all have after things like that. We're right back at it. And he had confidence in me on that next play, taking that shot. Good for Will Levis to be able to take it. I don't know how you react. We all react differently, right? And that's why coaches say you parent different kids differently, you coach different, you teach differently, you manage people differently. I'm not real good at being yelled at. Like you want to talk to me, but I don't know. But some people respond better. Yell at me, fine, that's cool. Bonehead, horrible play 2 weeks in a row, cost your team the game, coaches and you're screaming at you. And Will Levis says, yeah, no, I'm good. I didn't bet an eye. Are you still on the Will Levis train? Because I am.
It's 2 games in.
Yeah.
We can't have this conversation about young quarterbacks not getting an opportunity, Bryce Young being messed up, and then be like, well, Will Levis can't stop turning football over, so we're done.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm still on the Will Levis train because I've seen enough okay, I want to say really good, but I've seen enough positive. No, right? Am I wrong?
It's just a guy that you think has the ability.
I do.
There hasn't been a lot of positive, but it's just say, all right, size.
There's been enough okay. Is okay the wrong word?
That's fine.
Well, then why are you still on the train? Fine. Because it's 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to sit here and have this conversation the entire week of teams not giving young quarterbacks an opportunity, and then just with this Will Levis be like, he's the one that is not going to be good anymore. Made 2 bad plays. He needs to learn to take a sack.
Yeah.
It's okay to take a sack.
Instead of handing the ball to the other team,
they're just rolling it. The Jets.
Freaking rolling the ball. Like, what are we doing? I just looked at my fantasy team. Everybody's got a Q next to them.
Oh, there's a lot of Qs. Don't like that.
There's a Q, and there's even one I.
I don't like the I. What is that?
Inactive.
Oh, you have Russell
Injured
Wilson
reserve.
The midweek.
Don't put in your lineup.
The midweek missed practices are the ones that worry me the most.
Dude, especially if you got to make a decision on Thursday night. Do I play the guy instead because he might not play?
Yes. It's pretty easy tonight.
I mean, because you got nobody playing.
Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall.
Yeah, but if you're going to play
Stevenson,
somebody, yeah.
And even if we're talking about going deep, needing players, there's no one else. Maybe Hunter Henry would be on that list.
Ramondre Stevenson.
He's a lock to me. RB2 lock.
Okay.
Even in a tough matchup.
All right. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What if you're
if you're in like a 16-team league, a 2-quarterback league? That's what you're talking about. Not a 10 or 12-team league.
But let's say he's your backup, and you're in a place where your quarterback. Well, you're a mess. If it's Justin Herbert and him, you're a mess.
Yeah, you're not. It's not great fantasy.
What if Jordan Love's your quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
You drafted Jordan Love. This is feasible. And your backup was Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. All right, Patriots 6-point dogs. I got the Patriots. I'll take the points. I think the Jets win by 4.
Jets by field goal.
All right. Thanks to Jerry Palm. He of CBS Sports. He was with us today. The Jim Rome Show is next. Then it's the Herd with Colin Cowherd. 2 men on, in at 4. You get Thursday Night Football after that. The Ice Soap's over on the Pit. What's the Pit's frequency?
94.5
FM. Thanks for being with us today. Really appreciate you spending time with us. Adrian, great work on the TV side. Always looks good. Big day for you, huh?
Huge day.
I enjoy it. Hey, be good to each other, please. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning. We'll start at 7 a.m. Be kind, loving, caring, assuring. Smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burtia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.